Still rocking the mohawk that I had since the Jersey Shore, Got hair on my eye. I'll put it back up. Probably let my hair heal for the rest of the month. I'm not sure. Figure it out. Can I prop this up? It's good enough, whatever. I need some moisturizer for my leg. It's looking good. It's still one last stitch is giving me an issue, but I put that sock up. Like I thought like the compression would be good for the healing, but and you put the brace on it or whatever, another even better the healing. But and the compression so much I had to let it air out. But even the sock itself, like it compresses a lot. My leg just doesn't like it or whatever, it gets really irritated. So I would wear it, but and then it for every few hours I put it in the sock. um, it doesn't really translate to like okay 1 hour. It's like 3 hours that it needs to be out because it's just really uncomfortable, whatever, and it can gets itchy and shit like that. So this is what it is. But so I don't really wear it. So that's why I'm very careful walking around. Like I want to be able to move, but I just, anyways, 2 minutes or less about like Chewy and stuff like that. Now that I already elaborated on my leg, I'll just take it easy. I was gonna go, but I don't know. I was over at my cousin's house growing up. Was it Cherry Hill or was it Paramus? I think it was yeah. First time we saw because they moved down to Paramus. My cousins on my mom's side, my German side, they were into Star Wars a lot, sci-fi. I guess maybe that's how I got into sci-fi. So I remember not really liking Star Wars too much, or I did like it, or I was just like, oh, is this a normal movie, or it's a kids movie, or I mean, I like Star Wars, but I don't remember being into it a lot or whatever. I think I liked it, but I think what really kind of threw me off was like probably being called Chewy or whatever, you know, or something like that. Like, but I remember there was a time before Star Wars. Let's say that if there was a time, or maybe you know what it was. My time I knew about Star Wars. It was the third one. It was at 83. At 83, I was six, some odd years old, five, and that's where I really remember it. Or was it 84 by the time because we were watching VHS and they were going into the city to get bootleg or whatever and bring it in. Like, you can't do that. And they're arguing about it being illegal. And my older cousins was like, no, no. He's like, don't even put it in the FBI. Whatever. I didn't know anything like that. I remember that was said at Thanksgiving. Anyway, so we were watching it. They already watched it a couple times, so I'm watching it because they knew, I like it, and so they got excited. And I guess maybe one of them said I was chewy, and that's because I chewed loud. And now I do not chew loud. That's what got me not to chew loudly and chew with my mouth shut. So if you ever see me eating, I'm a fucking animal when I eat, by the way, but I chew with my mouth shut and I don't make noise because of that at family gatherings. True story, because they call me Chewy, and it's from Chewbacca. But so we're watching it, and that was my nickname. My even my sisters called me Chewy, and because I was dark and they were light, I get it. But to me, I didn't like it because Chewbacca scared me because he was like a monster or whatever. But as it turns out, he lives long. He's brilliant. He was a warrior or whatever, and it took me years to because it was just very insulting. But now I'm like, all right, it's cool. It took me years to be like, I like Chewy and I like Star Wars. It just slowly grew on me like moss, you know. So like so I like Chewy, man. So now I like Chewy. I don't mind because and me being hairy like Chewy or whatever. I mean, but so I mean, it's just one of those things growing up. Like you had this animosity, then you have this like affinity towards it. So now within Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, you see a darker Chewie or whatever. But like, okay, he's a gladiator. I can relate to that. Now he's a warrior. He's the more what the lore revolved around Chewie. Because back then they didn't know any of the lore. It's just like 3 movies or whatever. My cousin's into it, and they're like die-hard Star Wars or whatever. I'm talking about. That's back when sci-fi was just like a small group of people, and not everybody loved Star Wars. Like you like sci-fi, but you know what it was like people who had people who cool people that didn't care what people think, but like, oh, I like it because everybody likes it, but people are afraid to say they like it, and that's a lot of it. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. So I sort of grew up in Star Wars. So first movie I ever saw actually was E.T. I'm talking about, but Star Wars was the first, like I'm talking about like sci-fi that I remember, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, but my sisters always called me Chewy, always, I'm talking about, and I hated it, I'm talking about I'm not chewing, I'm talking about even when I was like I'm not chewing loudly, I'm talking about I thought like if I did not chew loudly that would stop, but and then I didn't realize then when I got older I was just like I thought it was always kind of racist or whatever, Don't get me wrong, my family is kind of like that. My mom definitely is, but it's just like it was something like beyond that. It was just more of the character that was just very huggable. What I'm talking about, and it's just something. You just it grow. You just I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to really say because it's such much animosity being called that growing up. Like but the thing I'll be honest, it wasn't in reference to being like I don't know, one became the other. What I'm talking about? Like, was that Chew Loud or was it Chewbacca or whatever? What I'm talking about? But somehow it just sort of merged or whatever. You know what I mean? So when I was young, so but I know it took me a while. So I'm very polite when I eat. I'm talking about very very etiquette wise. But that's also from going to boarding school. So I even took it to a higher level. So I'm very attentive to that. So it's all from family gatherings and everything. But so ever when Chewbacca came on, I'm like, I would just, I'm nothing like that guy. I'm talking about how come I got to be the non-human? But now I realize me growing up in a German household, me being dark, it was something that it was a self-defense mechanisms for them. I'm part of the family, You know what I mean? It's like I'm part of the crew. And he's the warrior, I'm talking about. So he's, watch what he becomes, you know what I mean? So I see that. So it was the way of helping them to understand the world around them too, I'm talking about. So I don't mind. I mean, it's sci-fi, you could go out on those little bit of like using, fantasy and storytelling and to help bring in something stronger, what I'm talking about. So I get it now, what I mean? Being called Chewy, growing up, you know. And there's my two Colombian sisters that do that. One's a lighter skin, like real white, and the other is like dark like me. Both one not both Colombia, but one from Bogota is a lighter, older, and Medellin is the darker, younger. But we had a very traumatic, adoption upbringing, so we're all like estranged and everything. But I still remember that. But I think like if I make contact in the future, because I have two biological sisters that I speak to, but I feel if I reconnect or whatever, I want to be able to bring something to the table, bring something beyond the kitty table. So maybe think about that. But the thing is, it was just very my mom was just so not into reality or whatever, it's very frustrating. And so going to my cousin's house was sort of relief. You see this normalcy, but that normalcy was you see this really um, American society, what was normally in white society, it was very racist, so but I know that was a release for them, I'm talking about. And so I didn't like it, and I didn't know why I didn't like it. And then when I got older, I know why, because it was very racist. But now I know, like, the character is just like this. One of the biggest characters in the Star Wars, you know what I mean? It's just like they love the land. They're very naturalistic oriented, I'm talking about. The warrior, you know what I mean? So and they're very brilliant. So something I had this affinity towards now watching it, because I was called that growing up, and now instead of having this animosity, whatever, towards it, you know what I mean? Having a little bit of water in my eyes, I was like, that's really cool, you know what I mean? So I could see that on Boba Fett, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. I like it. So, I was just gonna see what's happening with those characters, and with the, with all the Chewbacca's, the Wookiees, all the Wookiees, you know what I mean? Kashyyyk. That I thought was really cool. I was really, whenever they came in Star Wars, I was like, I want to see more of that. I want to see the big tree houses. So I always wanted to live in a tree house, have a big ass, massive, I'm talking about, and that'd be my goal, you know what I mean? So it'd be crazy, you know what I mean? So, if I made a lot of money, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be up in the Manoa Mountains, have that one little house or whatever, so do that, so. Yeah, I love Star Wars. Yeah, because they really built out the universe. I'm telling you right now, like when George Lucas, like he probably made those three movies, and it's like that's all I got. And I don't really think like to the level of the universe it is crazy. You know what I mean? So I mean like that's all I did. I gave it all what I got. All I have. I'm talking about. And of course, there's all merchandising and whatever. So I mean, granted it grew crazily, but to the extent now that it's pretty cool. I mean, because you had all these other crappy ass sci-fi that came, I'm talking about, and then all of a sudden you had one, and it's just like we got to be like that. You know what I mean? It's just like that is what we were trying to be. You know what I mean? So I love the Star Wars universe too, man. So yeah, yeah, and the thing is, I think everybody says, "Oh, that's difficult. That's difficult." We gotta make a story that fits in the other story. But honestly, your mind is so expansive, and it'll fill in the blanks or whatever. And I think if you have a foundation of a story, you could build off of it instead of like, "Oh, we got to make sure it's all canon." That should be the fun part, Talking about you got this, you got this, you got all this stuff in front of you. Especially with computers now, you have these databases. You can keep track of all these things, and you can make a story within that. It should be easier. You know what I mean? But I guess back in the day, you got to keep track of everything and have this, like a posted over here, posted over there, and it was hard to keep everything in canon, I'm talking about. But now we have the foundation, everything should be easier and fun to make stories within it, So that's my thinking. I don't know, I'm talking about, but, I'm saying I'm not, my grammar is piss poor or whatever. But, say it's just not my thing, and I don't want to speak for like writers or whatever, but and I love shit that's excellently written. But that's how I look at it. But everybody's just like, well, if we could just write something freely and new, whatever, it'd just be easier because he has this free range and everything. I get that. But the reality is, even if you have free range, right? You're writing a story that is you think it's original, but it's really a combination of all your experiences in life, and it's going to be about human life anyways. And you're going to take sci-fi elements that you already heard, and you're going to take those sci-fi elements that already work. You know what I'm talking about? So, and how much can you really tell in a book? You know what I'm talking about? It's just like when you watch Dune and you watch the movie, it's just like you saw it, but there's certain things you're like, what the fuck? You just saw little snippets of it. You know what I mean? So I was just like, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know, like with the current Star Wars, the Knights of Ren. It's like, what was the story behind that? You always saw you like, oh, he fought them. He beat them. Like, no fucking shit, he beat them, you know? Exactly. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like when Jason Momoa died and shit like that. Oh, that was the elite uh what do you call it? Military unit of the Emperor. I was like, okay, that's nice. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he went down by them. Well, that fucking sucks. You know what I'm talking about? But they're supposed to be like, why was it so difficult? He took out a lot of them. Is that supposed to? Was that supposed to be difficult? I don't fucking know. You tell me. And he's supposed to make contact. He just comes back in with the head of a fucking or whatever the fuck it was. Is like, oh, I made contact. I talked to him. You know, some other shit. And like, okay, that's nice. Where's that? You know what I'm talking about? Maybe he had to do something crazy out there to get the respect. You don't know. I mean, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Exactly. So it was just like whatever, you know. I mean, all I'm saying is just you need all that backstory. You know, you need that. You know, there's only so much you could say. You know what I'm saying? And you got like, and what would be nice if you got Dune and you got what is that Dune world on Star Wars Tatooine? So that's Dune right there. And he should just be like, yo, that's Dune. You know what I'm talking about? Just be cool with it. You know what I'm talking about? But like, do Dune better, do Tatooine better than Dune. You know what I mean? It's just like fuck. It's like we're gonna make all this water. You know what I'm talking about? That'll be the book of Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying? It's like I had a dream. This is all water, and fuck it, just flood the shit. You know, this is what you got to do. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like I'm telling you, man. Because every time they do Dune, I don't know, man. It's just a huge undertaking. I just I don't know. I don't. Maybe if I read the books, I wouldn't complain. But I didn't read Dune. I read Game of Thrones. I read Ender's Game, and you know a couple of books, but I know like I was in the Marine Corps, and this guy read all the Star Wars. It was just a huge thing, and he had a Yoda um, thing. But you know they were really into Star. I mean, I had never met a bunch of people in my life that was more into American sci-fi than people in the Marine Corps. You just got this, but the infantry is really crazy. You got these really brilliant people. Like, how do you breathe it? I'm just kidding. I love you know, everybody I was in with. But it is this really diversion of people with intellect. That's all I'm saying. I'll say that. We'll just cut everything else away if I could. And it's a very diversion of people who utilize this piece, this part of their body. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so I never knew. Um, but it was pretty deep. But you have to realize that it's the same story over and over and over and over again. You know what I'm talking about? So it's just about human life, and it's just based on these very few things you can only tell once. You know what I'm talking about? And so it is what it is. And we live so much in a bureaucracy of what's written on paper or whatever, is that's what we see or whatever. And people know this, whatever. You know, talking about so all I'm talking about, we could only do so much. And I'm going off on a tangent. Like there's only so much story to be told, you know? And so you can't really have complete original. And if you build it off other people's story, it should be easier. Getting back on track now. Think about, you know, bureaucracies and the military and everything. But anyway, so I was called Chewy growing up. No joke. Going back to Chewbacca, I don't state it because I don't like it. But now I really like the character because of it, you know. And to see like a gladiator type of Wookiee come in, you know, talking about, you know, I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll look forward to it. Hopefully they do a character right or whatever, you know. Yeah, I think the good ones are. You know, you have to be. I think you don't want to get too much into what is currently happening in politics to the extent where you find your audience where it's only very specific to that time period. But if you take general elements that are historically relevant throughout our history, is probably the best way, and you relate that to what's happening. And be like, currently this is happening, this also happened there and back there. And it's a really caring theme. Like we rediscover that we have to deal with this and this issue because we forget and deal with it, forget and deal with it. You know, I'm talking about, I think is the best way. And that always happens, you know, talking about, and we really think that human interaction has changed a lot, and really hasn't. Our wording has changed, you know what I'm talking about? Our information about those things are more readily available, but it really hasn't. You know what I'm talking about? But we always think we're better than that other generation, that we are smarter, better, have a better personality, and dealing with it. But in reality, these things are already has happened already before. And then, yeah, so you just don't want to make it too specific and too detailed. I think you see the general elements. I was going to with what's his name, DiCaprio, uh, and Hunger Games girl. So yeah, I'll probably watch it. I don't know, is it good? I was looking at it. Don't Yeah, with the mirror or something like that. So the Jennifer Lawrence, yeah, yeah, Leonardo. So I mean, they're good actors. So I mean, they're doing like like a little something. I don't sometimes watch comedies, so I'll probably watch it like in the background while I'm doing something or whatever. See what's up with it. You know, Uh, because there's so many movies you just can't get to them. There's so many TV shows you can't get them all. I just try to stick to a few of them. Okay, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. If you liked it, I'll talk about it. I liked it. I'll probably like it. You know what I'm saying? So, eh, you know, see what's up. There's always like that something playing in the background. If it's totally quiet, I don't like it. Okay, see, that's always the best. You got word of mouth is really good, and I'm talking about. The thing is, like, unfortunately, I haven't been in the city in Jersey for a while. Is that it can go both ways. You get really bullshit conspiracy shit, or you get really good information, and you got to be really on top of things to really know the difference all the time because it's always shifting and changing or whatever else like that. But that's what I kind of miss about being out here. We can't really get that good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's true. I'm talking about. It's just like you try to put like and package your message into your best method of people understanding it. What I'm talking about. So that's a lot of it too. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. I see. That's true. Okay. That's what I like too, man. Some things are just blatant, and it's like, all right. But if you could add all this other stuff and engage people, make it entertainment. But all right, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I like. Like the people that gravitate and shit that makes it up to the top are really good, altruistic people. And I put out a message, for everybody the right way and entertaining. That's what I'm saying. That's how the world needs to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's kind of frustrating. I'm not saying it's always like that, but it's just like you see, like in Star Wars, you see if you look at it, light versus dark. You know what I mean? It's just the it's how what we need to watch. Sometimes there's a good message behind all that. I mean, it's all sci-fi, fantasy, but overall, it's just this story about who we are. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I think, and the core of it always needs to be like that. What I'm talking about? It's just, I think it keeps us healthy, and that's why we're entertained. It is escaping reality for a little bit, but is what I'm talking about. But it is about us. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to get too deep or whatever, but I don't know. But that's how I think I got into sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's good. Like that I could think way back when talking about I was young. So yeah, real young. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it. That's not 2 minutes by a long shot, but I need to start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's my whole life. What was it? 5, 6, 7 at the earliest, at the oldest actually. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's part of you, I guess. It's normal. There's no big deal, you know what I mean? And I guess sci-fi goes back even further, but you had these one-off things, and I don't know, man. This is really when it started to like cohere into something, be like, all right, there's something more, something bigger. You know what I mean? So, and I think when it did that, rest of society, you know, started to like it too. Yeah, it's Monday. I gotta do a few things, so I just want to do this, and then I have to just make some phone calls, start packing away everything, um, for Christmas and everything. Um, and then I get started in my other room. Start building that, and I just want to knock it out. It's like instead of making it perfect now, just make it good enough, make it good enough, and put it up there. Because I don't want to have this in one light. I have really good equipment and everything, and I want to start using it. So yeah, so that's really what I got to do. Monday, get shit done. Boom, start off the week and everything. So thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. Just wanted to say a little bit of something. Yeah, getting it definitely, definitely. Just a little bit of something about who I am. Um, this is real, whatever, and yeah, wake up a little bit. I was gonna wake up to the coffee, whatever, but I started doing this and doing that and whatever thing else. Yeah, and I'll probably get to the gym pretty soon too. So that's the whole thing. Let me just keep moving, keep doing stuff, knocking it out, whatever. So I want to do my broker's class and then my MBA because the VAs start messaging me about how's that coming along. You still interested? You still going? Yeah, we give you money. We'll give you more money. I'll be like, all right. And I need to get it just as a title. I think having those little bit of that little acronym, that little ABC, MBA, do a little something for me. But anyways, I'm out. Peace.